You grow up in Bakersfield, California. Your father works the oil fields, comes home every night smelling like petroleum and exhaustion. He doesn't talk much. Just sits in his recliner with the TV volume maxed out like he's trying to drown something only he can hear. Your mother runs the register at a hardware store until her back gives out when you're 15. After that, she's just home, in pain, managing it poorly. You drop out at 17 because algebra doesn't pay rent and you're tired of being hungry. You get hired at a motorcycle salvage yard pulling parts off dead bikes. The owner is a man named Dale who drinks his lunch and doesn't ask about your education. You're good with engines. You can hear what's wrong with a motor the way a musician hears a flat note. Nobody cares about that skill, not yet. Ratchet walks into the yard when you're 21. He's riding a 1998 Harley Softail with a timing chain eating itself alive. Leather vest, patches you don't recognize yet, gray beard down to his chest. He asks if you can fix it. You say yes, you do it in 4 hours. He comes back the next week with a different problem. Then the next week, by the 4th visit, he doesn't have a bike, just a six-pack and a folding chair. He sits on a crate and talks to you like you matter, asks if you've ever ridden. You haven't. You've spent 3 years fixing other people's bikes and never sat on one. He brings a beat-up Sportster the following Saturday, says, learn, you do. Within a month, you're at the clubhouse on weekends. The clubhouse is a converted warehouse on the edge of town, dirt road, no sign. Just a building that looks abandoned until you get close enough to hear the music and see the row of Harleys parked out front like a declaration. Inside, a bar built from scrap wood, a pool table with bad felt, a couch that's seen things, and men in leather who look at you without judgment or expectation. Just acknowledgement. First time you walk in, someone hands you a beer. You don't know his name, it doesn't matter. For the first time since your father stopped talking and your mother stopped working, a room full of people looks glad you showed up. That feeling is the product they're selling. You just don't know the price yet. Prospecting is 12 months of being nothing. You clean the clubhouse, toilets, ashtrays, beer bottles, floors. You stand at the door during parties, stone sober, for 8 hours straight while everyone else drinks. You ride at the back of every formation, eating exhaust, keeping pace. A member named Cubel sends you on a 2-hour drive to pick up a pizza. You bring it back cold. He throws it away without opening it. The test isn't the pizza, it's whether you'll go. You go. You mop floors, you fetch tools, you run errands at 2 a.m. without asking why. You take every order without hesitation. You learn that hierarchy isn't about respect, it's about proving you'll submit to the machine before you're allowed to be part of it. 12 months, then they vote you in on a Thursday. Ratchet hands you the vest, Death's head patch, bottom rocker, MC tag, 2 pounds of leather that feels heavier than it should. There's a party, people buy you drinks you don't remember. Ratchet pulls you aside later, he's drunk but steady. He says, this patch means every man here would go to prison before giving up your name. It sounds like a promise, it's also a price tag. You just signed a contract you didn't read. For 2 years, it's good. Weekend rides through the Central Valley, 50 bikes deep, the sound a wall of thunder that scatters birds a quarter mile ahead. Barbecues where everyone's kids run around together. Christmas parties where guys who look like they'd rob a bank dress up as Santa and hand out gifts. They set you up with a garage. Real tools. A lift, your name on a sign, every bike in the chapter comes through your hands. You're useful, you belong, you think those are the same thing. The garage is real, what funds it isn't. You notice in pieces, a saddlebag too heavy for clothes, a sealed box in your back room with instructions, hold it, don't open it, someone picks it up Tuesday. Cash payments for services you didn't perform, you choose not to ask. Choosing not to ask is a skill you develop. Deacon is the chapter president. He doesn't look like a biker. He looks like a regional manager, calm, friendly, talks in complete sentences. He sits you down one night after the clubhouse clears out, says the club has business interests. He lists them like he's reading from a portfolio. Meth distribution through 3 counties, protection fees on a string of bars, gun sales, small scale. Your garage will process some cash, not a lot. Just enough to need invoices. He asks if you're comfortable with that. The question is decorative. You say yes because saying no isn't offered. Deacon runs the chapter like a corporation. He tracks earnings by territory, holds monthly meetings with printed agendas, talks about market share without irony. Brotherhood is the branding, revenue is the product. The old members who joined because they loved writing are getting pushed to the edges. Ratchet complains one night, says the club used to mean something different. Deacon hears about it. Ratchet loses his route, the one he's had for 12 years, and gets reassigned to maintenance. He's sweeping the clubhouse at 58. He doesn't complain again. A member named Dice gets arrested. Distribution charge, enough meth to qualify for federal time. The club's rule is simple: you go down, we take care of your family, commissary money, mortgage payments, lawyers. Dice has a wife and a 9-year-old son. First 3 months, Deacon sends money like clockwork. Month 4 it drops, month 6 it stops. Dice's wife calls the clubhouse. Nobody picks up. You ask Deacon about it, he says Dice knew the risks. The club has expenses, resources are allocated based on operational value. Dice isn't operational anymore. That sentence rewrites everything you thought the patch meant. You start sending $500 a month to Dice's wife from your own cut. You don't tell anyone. It's not charity, it's insurance. Because if it happens to you, you want to believe someone would do the same. You're probably wrong about that. You marry Marie. She bartends at a place the club protects. Grew up around bikers. Knows the business behind the patches. For a while it works. Then the 2 a.m. calls start. Then the cash in the closet she can't ask about. Then a member walks through your kitchen at midnight with blood on his jacket and doesn't explain. She doesn't say anything. The silence between you develops weight. She's adding up numbers. You're hoping she miscalculates. There's one ride you'll never forget. Annual run to the coast. 63 bikes on a 2-lane highway through redwood country. The sound is a wall of thunder that scatters birds from trees a quarter mile ahead. You ride in the middle of the pack. The air smells like pine and gasoline and freedom from every choice you've made. Nobody's talking about money or territory or who owes what. It's just speed and sound and the road pulling you forward. Ratchet rides next to you. He's grinning under his helmet like a kid. For about 2 hours, the club is exactly what it promised to be. Men on bikes with nowhere to be except the next curve. You stop at a diner overlooking the Pacific. Everyone eats burgers and talks garbage and watches the sun go down. It's the closest thing to peace you've felt since you patched in. You hold on to that memory the way a drowning man holds a piece of wood, because everything after this ride gets worse. The Mongols push into your county, selling in your bars. Recruiting on your turf. Deacon handles it with meetings first. They last about a week. Then a member's bike gets torched. A bar owner's windows get smashed. One of your guys takes a knife in a Denny's parking lot. The war isn't starting, it's continuing. You're not pulling triggers, you're fixing the bikes they ride to do it. You're washing the cash that funds it. Your hands are technically clean. The distinction gets thinner every week. Your first real job comes on a Tuesday. A bar owner 3 towns over has been paying the Mongols instead of your club. Deacon wants a correction. You go with Kubel and 2 others. The bar is closed. You pick the back door lock, a skill you learned at the salvage yard, not the club. Inside, Kubel finds the safe. You're the lookout. Nothing happens. No confrontation, no violence. You take 14,000 and leave a playing card on the bar, Death's head drawn in Sharpie. The owner will understand. You drive home. Your cut is 2,000. It takes 11 minutes to earn. Your garage makes that in a good week. You tell yourself you just stood by a door, you didn't take anything, you didn't hurt anyone. The rationalizing gets easier every time. That's the part that should worry you. Marie packs a suitcase on a Wednesday while you're at the garage. Note on the table, 4 sentences. The last one, don't call, she loves who you were. Can't watch who you're becoming. You read it twice. Then you fold it and put it in a drawer like it's a receipt. You don't call, she's right, she's just right. Your mother calls 3 days later. She's heard something, small town mechanics. She asks one question, are you in trouble? You say no. She's quiet for a long time. Then, your father wasn't a bad man. He just couldn't stop choosing the wrong things. I watched it happen so slowly I didn't notice until he was gone. She hangs up. You stand in your kitchen holding the phone. It's the worst thing anyone's ever said to you, not because it's cruel, because it's accurate. The feds start showing up in the margins. Unfamiliar car parked near the clubhouse 3 days running. A garage customer who asks too many questions about your schedule. A member gets popped on a minor charge and makes bail in 2 hours. Someone's cooperating. Deacon knows. Meetings move to parking lots. Phones rotate weekly. The walls are closing but slowly, so slowly you almost don't notice until you're already trapped. You do the math one night, 6 years in the club. You've processed roughly 800,000 in dirty cash through fake invoices. You've been present during 3 assaults. You've held stolen property. You've lied to federal investigators. Any single one is a felony. Combined under RICO, it's decades. Your entire adult life reduced to a sentencing chart. 2 agents find you at a gas station. They know your name, your invoices. Your bank records, RICO case in progress, you're on the list. They offer cooperation for immunity. They hand you a card. 1 week, you don't call, you go to Deacon and tell him you're done. Not cooperating, just leaving. He's quiet. Then he nods. Conditions: you leave the patch, the garage, the state, no contact with members, no contact with law enforcement. If your name shows up in any filing, the arrangement ends. He doesn't define what that means. You hand Ratchet the vest. He holds it for a second, doesn't argue, says, "Ride safe, kid." You load your tools into a truck and drive until California is in the mirror. Ratchet calls you once. 3 months later, burner phone. The feds took down 11 members. Deacon cooperated. Traded names for a reduced sentence. The man who ran Brotherhood like a corporation sold the corporation to save himself. Cubel got 8 years. The clubhouse got seized. Ratchet wasn't charged. Too old, too far from operations. He says he's selling his Harley, buying a fishing boat, moving to Oregon. He says the club died before the feds killed it. Died the day it stopped being about the ride. You don't talk after that. You don't try. You land in Reno. Open a small repair shop. Lawnmowers, weed trimmers, small engines, quiet work. You rent a studio above a laundromat. The machines vibrate at night like an idling Harley. You eat alone, you sleep alone. You've forgotten how to connect with people outside a hierarchy. A woman at a hardware store asks you to fix her lawn mower. You do. She brings you coffee the next day. You talk for 10 minutes. She asks if you want dinner sometime. You say yes. At the restaurant, she asks what you did before Reno. You say you were a mechanic in California. She asks why you moved. You say you needed a change. She accepts it. You realize every relationship from now on starts with a lie and has a ceiling built into it. Some nights you hear bikes on the highway. You know the sound. The rumble builds, peaks, fades. Something tightens in your chest. You stand in the doorway of your shop and listen until it's gone. The club doesn't run on crime. Crime is just the business model. The club runs on loneliness. Every recruit is a guy who ate alone until someone said, "You're one of us." That's the product. Belonging, the price is everything else. There's no retirement, no alumni dinner. Just a small shop in a town no one visits and a sound on the highway that used to mean home.